Today we're taking on a heavyweight argument often wielded by Hadith proponents to defend its validity. But hold your judgment. This video isn't about taking sides, it's about putting this argument under the microscope rather than expressing our stance on Hadith. So, gear up as we delve deep into its validity and strength. Get ready for a gripping analysis. Proponents of Hadith often lean on a powerful argument. Its credibility is bolstered by sharing the same chain of transmission as the Quran. But hold on a moment. If we really dig deep, there's a hidden implication. It's like we're indirectly putting the divinity of the Quran to the test through its robust transmission chain. Let's unravel this fascinating notion together. But here's the twist. Why the emphasis on transmission chains? After all, newer doctrines like Qadiani or Mormonism have similar or more strong chains. Now imagine this. In today's digital age, anyone can claim divine inspiration, just like Mirza Ghulam Rasul did. If we solely rely on transmission chains, how do we distinguish true revelation from the noise? Here's the kicker. Maybe the key lies not in the chain, but in the content. Perhaps the only way to discern divine truth is by analyzing the message itself. So here's a thought. Proving the divinity of the Quran solely through a transmission chain. Now that's a whole new level of illogical head-scratcher. Now let's shift our focus to another critical aspect. Without analyzing the actual differences between Quran and Hadith transmission, let's say we concede that both the Quran and Hadith came through the same group of people. Does this automatically validate the Hadith? Imagine this scenario. A news channel reports a piece of news that turns out to be 100% accurate. Now someone jumps to the conclusion that all news reports from that same channel must be equally true. But hold on a second. This is a classic case of the fallacy of composition. Just because a news channel aired one accurate news doesn't mean everything else they broadcast is equally reliable. It's like saying, because one player scored a goal, the whole team must be unbeatable. But in the world of news, it's not that simple. It's also a hasty generalization, making a sweeping assumption based on insufficient evidence. Just because one report was accurate doesn't guarantee the accuracy of all others. Plus, there's the appeal to authority trap. People might blindly trust the channel without critically evaluating each report. That's like believing every word a famous person says just because they're famous. And let's not forget the false analogy. Comparing apples to oranges. So, the next time you encounter someone saying, "Oh, it's from that channel, it must be true," pause for a moment. Remember, things aren't always as straightforward as they seem. Likewise, asserting that the Hadith shares the same transmission chain as the Quran, it's automatically legit? Well, that's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Now let's delve into something crucial. Common sense tells us that each news report should stand on its own merit, grounded in evidence, sources and credibility. Relying solely on a channel's reputation is a recipe for misinformation. But here's the real brain teaser. If we question the accuracy of a second news report, does that tarnish the credibility of the first accurate one? Well, not necessarily. See, each report should be evaluated independently. So picture this. Refusing to accept the second inaccurate report simply because of the assumption it might tarnish the credibility of the first one. That's a recipe for disaster, wouldn't you say? It's all about thinking critically and not letting assumptions cloud our judgment. After all, truth matters more than reputation. Can we blindly accept Hadith just because of the fallacious belief that rejecting it somehow invalidates the credibility of the Quran? One of the most fascinating examples is the science of Hadith. Now here's the thing, just because a Hadith has a flawless chain of transmission, isnad, it doesn't automatically mean it's genuine. According to Hadith scholars, even with a perfect isnad, the content, matan, still needs to be scrutinized. If there are any discrepancies or issues, that particular hadith is deemed inauthentic. If a hadith with a rock-solid isnad gets the boot due to content scrutiny, mathan, why should we automatically buy into hadith just because it shares narrators with the Quran? Can we blindly embrace hadith, turning a blind eye to issues in its mathan, all under the mistaken belief that rejecting it undermines the credibility of authentic hadith? Now let's flip the script. If we can reject a hadith with reliable isnad without shaking the foundations of authentic hadith, how come rejecting hadith suddenly undermines the credibility of the Quran? Food for thought, isn't it? As we wrap up, relying on a robust chain of transmission to determine the divinity of the Quran, or accepting hadith solely because it claims to come through the same group of narrators doesn't hold water. Thank you for embarking on this journey of inquiry with me. If you found this content insightful, be sure to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious and never stop questioning. Peace be upon you.